Well, hello, Hastings. Let's just dive right into today's explainer, specifically put together for all of you local residents out there. We're going to run through all the vital details you need to tackle your Thursday, August 27th, 2026. Whether you are sorting out your morning commute, planning to catch some rays later, or just kind of curious about what makes this specific date so monumental in history, you are absolutely in the right place. We're pulling all this straight from our local sources over at hastingsnow.com, so let's get right to it. 82 degrees. Honestly, if you've been crossing your fingers for that absolute picture-perfect, easy-breezy late August day right here in town, you are totally in luck. That is our expected high for today, and it really sets the vibe for everything we're about to cover. It's not too hot, definitely not too cold, just right there in that glorious late summer sweet spot. So let's jump right into today's Hastings weather outlook. You'll notice a really nice dynamic shift as the day goes on. Look at this contrast, it's pretty cool. Your morning is going to kick off remarkably quiet, a crisp 52 degrees with practically zero wind, just really calm. But then as we roll into the afternoon, Hastings settles into this classic, beautiful August pattern. The thermometer climbs up to that cozy 82 degrees, we get plenty of sunshine, and just a really light 5-mile-per-hour breeze out of the northwest. Seriously, it's the perfect window to get outside, whether you're working or just playing. Now, heading into Thursday evening, the forecast stays incredibly straightforward. With clear skies, meaning no heavy cloud cover to trap all that daytime heat, those temperatures are going to gently slide right back down. A light north wind will eventually calm completely overnight, dropping our low to a crisp 52 degrees once again. It's kind of a perfectly symmetrical day, you know? Starts cool, gets beautifully warm, and then wraps up nice and crisp. Okay, so what's the game plan? How do we actually prepare for this? Here is your daily checklist. Because of that chilly 52-degree start, grabbing a light layer is definitely a smart move for the early commute, or maybe a morning stroll down by the Mississippi River before the sun really gets to work. But by the afternoon, you can confidently ditch that jacket for short sleeves. With all that sunshine, sunglasses and sunscreen are absolutely non-negotiable. And since there's literally zero rain in the forecast, you should totally take advantage. It is prime time for grabbing a patio table or wandering around Levy Park in downtown without worrying about the weather getting in the way. I actually couldn't resist throwing this in from our source material today because it just hits the nail on the head. Thursday is sunny enough that the Hastings Bridge may need sunglasses. The Mississippi will handle the mirror. I love that. It's such a great little local reminder of exactly how bright, dry, and beautiful our riverfront is going to be today. So make sure you don't miss out on that sunshine, guys. All right, let's pivot from those sunny patios and jump into our next section. On this date, a little time capsule. Here is the roadmap for our historical journey today. We're starting local in 1857 with the Minnesota Constitution, jumping a couple of years to 1859 for the first drilled oil well, and then taking a massive leap to the stars with the Mariner 2 launch in 1962. First up, taking it right back to our own backyard, August 27, 1857. According to the Minnesota Historical Society, this is the exact day Minnesota's bipartisan compromise committee finally hammered out a draft of a state constitution. And what's kind of crazy about this is that the draft was then sent back to completely separate Democratic and Republican conventions. They actually refused to even meet in the same room. But hey, the compromise worked. The very next day, they both adopted it, signed their respective copies by the 29th, and voters ratified it that October. So this date was a massive, absolutely crucial stepping stone toward Minnesota officially joining the Union in 1858. Now let's fast forward exactly 2 years to August 27, 1859. Over in Pennsylvania, near Titusville, a guy named Edwin Drake completed the very first drilled oil well at Oil Creek. Before this happened, collecting oil was honestly a pretty haphazard, surface-level kind of chore. Drake's well completely changed the game. It proved definitively that oil could actually be reliably and deliberately tapped by drilling deep underground. And the real so what here is the sheer scale of what Drake's drill unlocked. As the Library of Congress points out, this single event on this day back in 1859 is widely considered the absolute starting line for the modern petroleum era. By proving we could successfully drill for oil, it set off an insane boom. Just think about the massive domino effect. It completely overhauled global energy, basically gave birth to modern transportation, and utterly transformed global industry. All of that started on an August 27th. Crazy, right? Finally, let's jump ahead a little over a century and look way, way up. August 27th, 1962. Down at Cape Canaveral, NASA launched the Mariner 2 spacecraft, aiming it straight at Venus. Now, this wasn't just a run-of-the-mill launch. According to NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, when Mariner 2 eventually cruised past Venus later that December, it officially became the very first successful mission to another planet, a total historic milestone. Just like that oil well kicked off a new era right here on Earth, Mariner 2 launched the modern era of planetary exploration. By successfully beaming back actual measurements of Venus, plus data about the interplanetary space in between, it proved we really could reach out and study our solar system neighbors up close. It drastically expanded our whole perspective on where we fit in the universe.
All right. Well, as we wrap up this little journey through time and space, let's bring it right back down to reality, and specifically back to Hastings today. Even though our forecast looks absolutely pristine, our sources want to remind everyone that summer weather can pivot on a dime. It's always a good habit to quickly check the National Weather Service for official alerts or the radar before you head out, just to be on the safe side.
But assuming those skies stay as perfectly clear as they're predicting, I want to leave you with this. The weather is gorgeous. The history tied to the state is literally world-changing. You've got the facts and the forecast right in your back pocket. So how are you going to get out there and enjoy Hastings outdoors today? Whether you're taking a stroll along the Mississippi, grabbing an iced coffee on a patio, or just soaking up 5 minutes of sunshine, I hope you make it a fantastic Thursday. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's Explainer, and we will catch you next time.